Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're actually going to go over some patch notes for Medieval Dynasty, but before we get into that, I just want to say thank you guys so much for your continued support on the channel. It really does mean everything to me. If you find yourselves liking this video, you could do me a huge favor. Go ahead and hit that like button and consider subscribing as well. We also have our own Discord here. Everybody is of course welcome to join that. The link for that is going to be in the description down below. Alrighty guys, so as I mentioned, we're going to go over some patch notes. So really quick before we get into it, I'm really sorry that we haven't had another video go out. Unfortunately, last week was just really busy, and yesterday I was actually kind of sick. And the weekend was all just family chaos. It's the best way to describe it. So it's been kind of busy for me. So I do apologize. We are going to get another Medieval Dynasty episode out. I'm not 100% sure what I'm going to do in it just yet. Thinking maybe we could start the third district or the upper district. I'm not 100% sure. But anyway, this is something that I know, and I can see here that I'm a couple of days behind. But I just noticed this yesterday. Okay, so I didn't even know about this public stage branch, but yeah, it's a thing, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to go over this because, guys, it's the Heir update. Like, this is insane. So, just in case anybody out there is just like me and you were not aware of this, Medieval Dynasty does have its own, testing, branch. And you can, this is going to go over, how to join the public staging and everything. So, we'll be able to show that off. But I didn't even know it was a thing, guys. I did not know that they had their own, test branch of the game. And right now, what they just did is they just put the Heir update in it. So, let's go through this really quick. So it says, hello everyone, something happened in our Medieval Dynasty laboratory. We created monsters, text monsters. The Heir update is huge. No, it's massive. It took a while to usher them all down the narrow hamlets and paths to the village, but they're finally here. Dear village elders, grab one of the exemplars. It just wants to play and find out what the heirs have to offer. Currently, the public stage is only available in English. However, all translations are currently in the works and should be available for you soon. Have fun with the Heirs update on the public stage. So, how do you guys join it? All right. Well, if you go over here to your list, your game list, and you right-click on Medieval Dynasty, you're going to go down to Properties, and then once you're in Properties, you're going to click on Betas. And once you're in this Betas tab, this line right here, this Enter Beta Access Code, I'm not going to do it because I don't want to do it on this computer and risk messing up our YouTube playthrough. Otherwise, I would, guys. I would totally play it over here. But what you're going to type in right down here, you're going to type in this medieval staging. And then I believe you can hit Enter, or no, excuse me, check code. It says right here, check code. And then this is going to show up. Okay, and then once you close out of that, it should update your game down over on your downloads page, and you should be able to play, the public staging branch. Now, they do say here to please save your live version save games before accessing the public staging build, just in case something goes awry, okay? And they tell you exactly where you can find your save games. All right, now the reason that you want to do this is because it's a public staging branch. All kinds of things can go wrong. Something could happen to your save files, and if you don't want to lose them, obviously, definitely back them up, okay? For sure, back them up. But now, let's go through what's actually been, what the changes are. So here we have everything that's been added. So there's a new building. They added the donkey shelter. And the donkey shelter says available early in the village development. I'm not 100% sure how many farming points you're going to need, but I know that it's going to be way before the stables. I want to say it's maybe even after the pigs, or maybe before the pigs, but I know that it's way before the stables. And this is great. This is awesome. I really like this because I've always kind of wondered what the point was of having the donkeys. Okay. They added a fast travel. There's wagoners around the villages and between the villages. So I had a chance to check out this content saying on my other computer that I play on. I actually switched it over, so I was able to check out a little bit of this stuff. These wagoners are just outside every village, and they're going to charge you silver coins based on how far you want to go. So let me see, to go from, I think it was Rolnica to Denica, it was 230 silver, but if I wanted to go to Gostovia, it was a lot closer to 500 or 600. So, they're going to charge you more if you want to go farther. New items, toys available from vendors. I have not come across this yet, so I'm not sure who we get them from, but, we'll figure it out eventually. Possibility of giving gifts to children. Again, I haven't figured this one out yet because, well, not figured. I haven't had a chance to try this one yet because in my off-camera playthrough, my wife just had a baby, so the baby's not not big enough for that yet. Player can now change to the heir if the heir is already an adult through dialogue, and this is irreversible. Okay, so I think up until this point, again, I've never made it this far in the game, which is crazy because I've got almost 800 hours in it. Yeah, you can now play as the heir through dialogue. So Rasimir does not have to die. I think up until this point, Rasimir had to die, but your heir had to be an adult. He had to be at least 18 years of age before you could switch over and then continue the game. Now it looks like you can do it even if Rasimir is still alive, but you can't go back. There is no going back, so keep that in mind. Teenage apprentices, possibility of assigning teenagers in work buildings. Yes, this is kind of neat. There's a couple of buildings. I don't think I noticed it in every building, but I know I definitely saw it in, I want to say the barn, and I want to say the inn for sure. I didn't really look for all of them, but I definitely saw an apprentice slot. It looks like there's only one slot for an apprentice, but even still, I mean, that's kind of neat. That's really cool. Ceremonial haircutting event when the heir reaches the age of 7. I didn't get a chance to see what this is. I don't know if it's something that happens in the game or if it's just one of those little painting looking cutscenes. I'm not 100% sure. 4 personalities for the son. Again, didn't get that far. Family quest for son and wife. I did do a quest for the wife. She wanted some kind of special soup from a master angler down in Jazerica. And guys, if you complete the quest, you can add him to your village, and he actually comes with higher skills than other people. Family small talk, didn't really get into that. New greetings for players' family, didn't really get into that. 6 unique quest NPCs available to add to your village. Okay, so this must have been what the master angler down in Jazerica was for me. And like I said, he actually came with some higher skills. I think he had a 3 in everything. And then I want to say he had a 7 in fishing or something. So I mean, it was pretty cool. That was pretty awesome because at the end of it, he was just yeah, I just don't even know what I'm going to do with my life. And Raspberry's just well, come live with us. So that's pretty neat. It's going to be really, really cool to find out what the other 5 are. I have not come across any of them yet. Possibility of upgrading modules in non-residential buildings. Guys, this is a huge, huge deal for somebody like me, okay? I love the building, and I love being able to upgrade the buildings. So daubing, when you put daub over and stuff, there were certain buildings you couldn't do it to. Okay, so the smithy, for example, and I think the sewing hut was another one, and then the food storage. I don't know what else, but just those 3 off the top of my head, I know for a fact you couldn't daub them over, you couldn't upgrade them, and it always made me so mad because it's I have all these daub buildings, and then those are just wattle, and I can't do anything about it. This fixes that, okay? This makes it so that those can now be daubed over and upgraded. Possibility of drinking directly from the well. This always made sense to me. I'm really glad that they added that in. Possibility of collecting eggs and feathers from nests in the hen house and the goose house. This makes sense to me, but it also doesn't. I feel if you have workers in there, they should be collecting that stuff anyway. So I don't know how many people may have requested this or may be really excited about this. I kind of see it as an extra chore because your workers don't collect these things. And basically when you go in there, it'll say 20% full for 30% full. You get a lot of eggs and feathers this way, okay? A lot of them. I was getting so many. I think after 3 days I went in there and I ended up with 18 eggs, all total from my hen house and my goose house, and I don't even know how many feathers, and it was just well, this is weird. Possibility of collecting honeycombs from the hives in the apiary. I'm gonna assume it works the same way as this. I haven't tried it yet because I don't know if I have anybody working in the apiary in my off-cam playthrough. Possibility of collecting manure in some of the animal buildings. Again, I haven't checked that one out either. But I don't know. I just feel these are extra chores. But I mean, hey, to some people that might be they might be really, really excited about it. New status indicating the number of unhappy inhabitants. I haven't had this pop up yet, but I do like that they're doing that now. New status indicating the number of active assignments in production whose progress has been stopped due to problems. Again, I like this as well. I've always really thought that there were certain statuses that just needed to be put, and for example, your lumberjack could run out of axes, and you would never know unless you just happen to go to the management screen. I think that I went like a whole season not knowing that my lumberjack didn't have an axe, because the only way to know is if you go into the management screen and you see all of the little exclamation points next to your buildings and stuff. So I like that they've done this. New status indicating the number of active assignments in trading whose progress has been stopped due to problems. Okay, so that, again, I feel like this is something that should have just, these I really like. I really, really like these. These should have just been there. Special notifications when wife or heir leaves us due to mood, affection, or death. I've never had this happen to me. So, I don't know how many people have actually made it this far, but I imagine that that's really good as well. Players can now pick one of 3 steering types for the gamepad. I haven't really messed with this. I do play, on my off-camera playthrough, I do play with a controller, and that was actually something that they changed all of the controls with this update, and I had to relearn how to play the game. It was crazy. They added gamepad vibrations. I've noticed that those seem to happen when you're building a lot. New heads and hairstyles for the heir. Again, haven't gotten this far because my heir's not really grown up. New animations for toddlers and kids playing with toys. This I haven't gotten to it yet either, but I'm excited to see it. New animations for mothers with infants. This right here is honestly, guys, for just the little details in the game to add some realism. This is really cool. The mother will actually walk around the house with the baby. She will coo it and kind of hum to it. She'll take out a wooden rattle and play with the baby and do this little kissy thing, and the baby will giggle, and it's so much more immersive with that. Just that little thing, and you can walk by the house and you'll hear the baby giggling inside. It's the coolest thing. New sounds for the lynx and the wolf. Very long distance calling. It will be easier to track down these 2 types of animals. So this is going to be, something for people that like to hunt. I don't mind the hunting, but it's not really something I go out of my way to do. So if there's anybody out there that really, really, really does like it, though, this is probably going to help you track down these animals, obviously. And it does sound really cool when you can hear them in the distance. That adds a type of, that adds some realism to the game that you really can't even describe. You just have to experience it. Long distance sounds for the rooster. I haven't really been paying attention to my rooster, but I'm sure that, it's there and he's doing it. Sounds for many NPCs' idle animations. Again, I haven't really been paying attention to that too much. Sounds for gates. This one I have paid attention to, and it's a pretty loud sound. It's like a loud squeak. It sounds like a gate. I mean, there's no other way to describe it. It does sound like a gate. Sounds of crying infant. My baby has not cried yet. All I keep hearing is giggles. But, hey, I'm sure it's there. Sounds for building and destroying roads, fences, gates, and furniture. I did notice this when I was doing the road. There's I don't even know how to describe it. Someone's throwing sand down. There's a sound for when you're building the road, or when you're laying the road. I don't want to say building. I mean, it says building, but it's kind of when you're laying them down too, the fences, when you go to when you're just doing the blueprint. There's sounds for that now too. Reverbs in caves and buildings. I'm not 100% sure on that one. Fixed, so there's a whole bunch of fixes here. This list is quite long. I don't know that I'm going to go over every single little tiny detail of this, because otherwise, we would be here forever. But you guys are welcome to go ahead and pause and go ahead and read any of this if you wish. Me personally, I don't think that I had a whole lot of these issues. I'm trying to think. Yeah, no, I don't think I had too many of these issues. The only thing that I had an issue with was the why can't I think of the guy's name? The guy that does the king's quests. The one that he'll spawn in the inns and stuff. For whatever reason, when he tried to spawn in my inn, the first day that he was there, he wasn't in the inn. He was in my food storage next door, sitting in the middle of the floor on air. And I was like, okay, that's a little strange. This is the first time I've ever seen that. And then the second day, he was outside the building, right next to my campfire where all my people were sitting, but he wasn't sitting on a log. He was sitting on air. And then I went and I switched the game over to this, and now he, was sitting in the tavern. But yeah, that's the only issue I've had. But, obviously other people have been having these problems. So go ahead and read through those if you're concerned about any of them. But they did, of course, go ahead and fix a whole bunch. Okay, so updated. Now, this is another long list, but I am going to read as much of this as I can. So they've got some rendering optimizations, optimization of some systems, lighting improvements, improved water quality on low settings. Again, I haven't had a chance to really test that. I think that my game is set to at least high. House decoration system. This is kind of neat. Division into exterior and interior decorations, and there's more slots. All right, so this took me a second to figure out. When you go to put like window shutters and stuff on, you used to be able to do it from inside, outside. It didn't really matter. Now it's very specific if you're inside the building or if you're outside the building. So if you want to put window shutters on and you want to change what your door looks like, you have to be on the outside of the house. Okay. And then if you go inside the house, it'll be something completely different. That's where you can put the curtains on and some shelving. So that's something to keep in mind if you're like me and you really like the decoration system. Reworked the wind system. The only thing I noticed about this is that the tree movement was a little different. Bandits AI. This, I haven't really noticed much of a change. The bandits still seem kind of dumb, but, it's getting there. Default gamepad steering has changed. Yeah, what they really mean here is default gamepad everything has changed. Like, literally, the entire controller was just different. I had to relearn how to do everything. Reworked the models of the signpost. These actually look really, really nice. They also added signposts outside of the villages to say, like the village name. Like, outside of Denica, there's a sign that now says Denica. More signs along the roads. This I'm really looking forward to because there's a couple of roads that didn't have signs, and I would constantly have to open my map to say, like, okay, am I still heading in the right direction? Reworked the model of the bear. I haven't had a chance to take a look at what the new bear looks like. Optimization and visual improvements to all of the animals. Increase the smoothness of movement for the animals and for people. Optimization of loading save games. Reworked the models of the following buildings: food storage buildings, hen house, pigsty, hunting lodge, stable, smithy, sewing, and some of the buildings in the villages have improved walls. I haven't really been looking for which ones are different now. Reworked icons and meshes of some items. That I did notice. There was a couple of icons that it was like, wait a minute, that's different. Increased number of skill and technology points from hunting dangerous animals. This is going to be big in the early stages of the game, especially when you get to that one point where they want you to do, they want you to hunt like Wyzant and bear and stuff. Increased influence of home quality and insulation on inhabitant mood levels. This I really like because I have an entire section of my village that's made out of wattle, and I went through and I upgraded the walls to daub, and I even went and gave them plank roofs and everything. The houses look really, really nice, but everybody's still sitting at 11 mood, and it's like, come on guys, I know you want to live in stone houses, but come on now. Decorations in houses now increase the mood of the inhabitants. This is such a big deal for me because I love the decorations, and I actually just noticed it the other day. I put window shutters, mind you, really expensive ones, on a house, and I went to check the inhabitants' mood and nothing happened, and it was like, now hold on a second. I feel like that would make me feel better. But yeah, I'm really glad that they added that in. Mood of workers now affects the speed of production. So you can see here they've got different, what the speeds are going to be based on how, what their mood is. Same thing with trading, and the same thing when it comes to repairing your buildings. NPCs don't work at the workbenches if production is lacking resources, tools, etc. Okay, so this is not really something I've ever had a huge problem with, but I guess it makes sense. If they run out of something, they're not just going to stand there and continue to, try to make a plank. Player's dirtiness now has a chance of poisoning the character while eating. This right here, while it's going to seem tedious to a lot of people, this right here always made sense to me. In fact, I thought that's kind of how the dirt system worked. And then it never happened. I never got sick or anything. So it was just okay, well, what is the point of the dirt system then? So I do like that they have that. Water in lakes now influence the perceived temperature. So I imagine if you're out in the wintertime and you go into the water, you're probably going to get really cold. The storage capacity limit in the kitchen level 2 has been increased. I don't know how much of a problem that was, but that's pretty cool. Hens now produce more eggs and fewer feathers. Geese produce more feathers and fewer eggs. So this is actually really cool because I'm pretty sure that I had mentioned, guys, in one of our last episodes that that's probably what I was going to end up doing is I was going to get a goose house and I was going to have the geese produce feathers and the hens just produce eggs. So this works out. This really helps me quite a bit. Only horses can be assigned to the stable. If donkeys were assigned in the save game state, they will remain. All right, so because of the new donkey building, obviously, you're going to have to put your donkeys in the donkey shelter. Is that what it's called? And then, horses are going to go in the stable, but it does look like if you already have donkeys, they're going to stay there. Delay for horse whistling. I've never really used the horse whistling, so I'm not too sure how important that is. Hen house now requires 50 farming technology, and the pigsty is 100. I don't know what they were before. So I'm not 100% sure if this is good or if this is bad. But I know that somewhere in there is the donkey storage. So that's probably why they changed those. Attacking with fists can now be done by holding the attack button, same as with the other tools. That's not really something I noticed. I didn't know that you couldn't hold down the attack button with your fists, but that's pretty cool. Smooth sprint speed change when encumbered instead of blocking opportunities. That one I've never really had an issue with either. I don't know that I've ever tried to run too much when encumbered. Running in water is possible. Tweaks the character jump. Change the animation behavior when jumping onto a mount. Reduce the character fall damage. That's kind of nice because there was a couple of times where I fell off like the tiniest little hill and Rasimir took like half his health and it was like, whoa, what happened there? Fist fighting animation when sprinting in TP. I'm going to be 100%. Is that third person? That must be third person, guys. I don't want to sound stupid, but that must be third person. Fist fighting animation when sprinting in third person. Okay, so again, I don't know that that's something I've ever really experienced, but improved torch fire. This I did notice. It does look much better. They did a good job there. Road signs. Some fences and gates don't collide with the camera in third person. I don't know that that's something I've really had an issue with. Herald now reacts to player being dirty or drunk like others. Okay, alright. I haven't really had that issue with him either. Herald dialogues now have icons. Oh, that's another thing. The Wagoners, that's what they're called. The Wagoners, the fast travel guys, they have their own icon on the map too. It's kind of like, it's a green looking like road sign. Like, the arrow signs that they have all over the game. That's what the Wagoner looks like. Herald dialogues now have icons. Arrows from all bows can now be shot earlier. Again, that must be something for hunters. I'm sure that there's people that play, with the hunting, and they're like, oh, heck yeah. Longbow is now 30% slower than the regular bow, and the recurve bow is now 30% faster than the regular bow. So that's kind of nice. Camera shake intensity for building hammer and pickaxe. This, I gotta be honest, I don't know how many people play with camera shake. I have to turn that off. I will get an intense headache with camera shake. I always had to turn it off for Arc too. Kudos to anybody that can play with it on, but yeah, I had to turn that off. Numerous tweaks to and improvements to the terrain. Numerous snow improvements on terrain, buildings, and other objects. Quest Mouths to Feed now requires fish meat instead of berries. That's probably a good thing because fish meat can be acquired at any time of the year, whereas berries can really only be harvested in the summer. Chapters 2, Hunt Quest now passes after hunting any animal. Fish and birds are included. Oh my gosh! Guys, this is the first time I actually read that one. Somehow I missed it the first time. This is awesome because I remember trying to do this quest and I killed a crow and it was like, are you kidding me? That didn't count. But now it will. That's awesome. Generic kid quests. There we go. Can now be only assigned to children other than the player's kid. Okay. All right. Okay. When Heir is born, no events will trigger in that season. Okay. Building menu descriptions are updated. Item descriptions have been updated. Experimental optimization for several UIs. Knowledge updated and expanded. Okay. Several UI text lines corrected and updated. Icons for statuses in the HUD updated. Infant is no longer visible on the compass. That's a little strange. Notifications about missing workers and animals are from now on only visible if the building has any assignments. Game settings got divided to game settings and control settings. Knowledge description now scrolls automatically if player uses the gamepad. Tutorials now scroll automatically if player uses gamepad. Tutorial videos now have inputs matching controller type. Okay, I didn't know that there were tutorial videos. NPC detail family part now displays relation type with family members and shows siblings, grandparents, and grandchildren. Good lord, have people really played this game that long? Like I said, I have close to, I don't think I have over, but I have close to 800 hours in this game, and I've never even had grandchildren. Now, anytime player changes home assignment for an NPC, there is a notification. Earlier it was only if family had more than one member. Okay, so I think that I noticed this with when you get like new NPCs into your village. When you go to assign them a house, there's a window that pops up and says like, are you sure you want to move this family? Like even for a brand new NPC into a house that has nobody in it, that still pops up. Player now can't change language outside of the main menu. All sounds have occlusion now. Occlusion is to simulate the effect of the sound being reduced in high frequency content and or amplitude because of an object being between the source and the listener. Broom sounds will, I can't read that word, guys, attenuate? Did I say that right? Attenuate more natural. Reverb to sounds of the flail. Okay, so I did notice a change to the sounds of the broom. I have not gone into the barn and used the flail, so I don't know too much about that. But I'll be honest, I mean, the sound that they had for the flail before really wasn't that bad. But, you know, we'll go and we'll check it out at some point. Foliage interaction with player and mount. Haven't really had that. This might be... Wow, is this all seriously part of the same update? No. This can't be, right? Controller vibrations are always on, even if disabled in settings. Fixed. Okay, so I don't know if this is part of the same update, but there's all this as well if anybody would like to read it. It looks like they added a couple of different languages, so that's really good. And then this was the calendar contest. So, okay, there we go. That took a minute to get through. I'm really, really sorry about that. But guys, yeah, I was really excited when I saw this. I changed my off camera over to just check some of it out. I haven't had a chance to check it all out, but if anybody is interested in playing the Heir update before it actually hits the main game, definitely go over and change your game to the public stage. Make sure you back up your saves. Check it out and let us know how it is and let us know what you think of it. For now, though, guys, I'm going to call the episode here. Thank you so much for coming and hanging out. I really hope everybody has a fantastic rest of the day. I hope to see everybody come back for the next episode. And until then, bye, guys.